Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fantasy Endgame and happy Monday night before football. We got one more game left and actually should be a pretty good one. Falcons and the Eagles. Do you need a Monday night miracle to win in week 2 for fantasy? Let's hope not, but if you do, well, you're going to be very interested to see what happens tonight. Are the Falcons going to actually show up on offense tonight? And then, of course, the Eagles, you already know, talked a lot about A.J. Brown not being active tonight. So do you have to pivot? Were you holding out? Maybe you actually need a last minute miracle from somebody. Can try to do our best to figure out what your alternatives might be if that's the case. And AJ Brown is definitely not the only big time player that's hurt. In fact, I feel like we're not even going to have time for questions. It's going to take us that long just to go over the injuries. Honestly, I mean, we say like we kind of talk back and forth, and when we're not on here, I really feel that I can't think of a start to a season within the first 2 weeks, this many major injuries. And you guys probably don't even know, you're just getting on right now. There's another big injury that just happened, came out of nowhere. I mean, I don't even know when did this happen, but honestly, has there been a start to a season like this?
I mean, there probably has, right? But yeah, not that I can remember. No, I mean, man, I always say fantasy football is a game of attrition, but usually I'm thinking more like towards the end of the season. It's
right.
I mean, really, we like the first round. Like you basically, there were landmines everywhere in the first round right now.
Yeah. It's true because, and usually we say that like with baseball, it's such a long season, and of course there's so many positions you go through. Which like, yeah, you're going to have to stay just up on top of things to make sure you have replacements. It shouldn't be this bad this early for football, but man, let's start with the latest major injuries. We knew that Cooper Kupp was hurt. Now we know it's not good. It's kind of like Puka. He's going to be out more than 1-2 weeks. We don't know exactly though. I mean, all we know is it's going to be multiple weeks, possibly IR.
Yeah, I mean that's what McVay said. Like, extended absence, I think, is the word he used or the term he used. But said IR is a possibility. And when it comes to Sean McVay, that just makes me think it's IR. That just makes me think, I mean, there's no reason to put him on IR yet, but probably like Friday or Saturday, we'll see Cooper Kupp go on IR, unfortunately.
Yeah, and coaches don't throw out that term unless it's really in play, right? They usually downplay injuries and don't tell us the full. If that's just being thrown out there immediately, that it's at least 3 to 4 weeks minimum. So who knows? Puka Nacua might be back before Cooper Kupp is. Although Puka Nacua also not just missing 4 weeks. So I think the big question here is, when Puka went down, we're like, okay, who steps up? Cooper Kupp. Big win if you got Cooper Kupp. No. Who fills in? Is it Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson? Who do we want in this Rams offense? And now I think it's legitimately worth asking, do we want anybody in this Rams offense? Is it just going to be a black hole?
Kyron's the only one, because at least, he'll get the touches. He'll catch some passes. Probably Kyron. That's probably it right now. I mean, Demarcus Robinson, sure, if you need him. Jordan Whittington, maybe if you need him. Tyler Johnson, maybe if you need him. But you can't feel good about this passing attack now. That is for sure. But I think Kyron will still. I mean, kind of like what we saw with Josh Jacobs yesterday. They might just say, fine. Kyron getting 25 carries, 30 touches, and that's just going to be our offense until we get one of these guys back.
Man. It's brutal. Speaking of brutal, well, Isaiah Pacheco wasn't good. Now it's weird because the replay, if you saw the actual play, the replay, you could tell it wasn't going to be good. And then after, not even before, after the game was over, he was jumping up and down the sideline. He didn't get carted off or anything. Looked like, okay, no big deal. It's a big deal. So he is definitely going to be out for a while. If I saw correctly, 6 to 8 weeks. Is that right?
Yep, 6 to 8 weeks. So, I mean, the good news here, even the good news for Puka and Kupp, is that they're more than likely not season enders. And like I said, I mean, it's never good when because look, Pacheco, I know it's only 2 games, but Pacheco was going to be great this year. Like, I think that's almost a certainty. And that Chiefs offense with the usage he was getting, right? 5 catches yesterday. I mean, no one was threatening Pacheco. And of course, Kupp was going to be great without Puka, and Puka just would be great. But the good news here is, even though it's terrible to lose these guys, at least like 6 to 8 weeks is better than season over. Because even if you go 8 weeks, you're talking about, okay, he's back, let's say week 10, week 11. That still gives you a few weeks to get into the playoffs, and then he's there for you in the fantasy playoffs. So it's better than, season ender. I don't know. I'm trying to find some silver lining here.
Well, yeah, he should come back at some point, and you can, with Pacheco, stash him in IR and get him back late in the season. Like a Hollywood Brown situation, it doesn't seem like that's happening. It's not worth it. Kupp, Nakua, Pacheco, at least mid-season, we're going to be hoping for a comeback. All right, let's see. Next major injury to a player. Oh, here's a fun one. This one just happened. I just found out about it because, Chris, you told me this just broke, and bet you didn't know Deebo Samuel's hurt. That's right. Deebo Samuel coming off a pretty big game and sort of benefiting from CMC being out, which, of course, we already know. Christian McCaffrey is out on IR. And now all of a sudden, Deebo is hurt too. And it's not just, questionable for week 3. No. He's also going to be out a while.
Yeah. So Kyle Shanahan saying, going to miss, I think he said going to miss a couple weeks with the calf strain. What's up with the calf strains over there in San Francisco? But where did this come from? I didn't even hear anything about that he, got banged up in the game, is getting it's just, where did this come from? It's like, what the heck is going on right now? I mean, look, Brandon Ayuk's been terrible to start the year, but they're going to need him. I'll tell you who this is I think the biggest hit for, though. Well, other than the 49ers, who are, obviously going to be reeling from this for a little bit. Brock Purdy. I mean, look, I know the Vikings defense is good. I said going into last week, I said, look, they were good in week 1, but come on, it was like an easy, that matchup didn't scare you. This is the 49ers. Let's see if they're for real. Well, okay, they're for real. They look good. I know they didn't have CMC, but still, they have weapons in that offense. You know what I mean? That defense is for real. But Brock Purdy, obviously they missed CMC. Now he's not going to have Deebo there. I mean, yeah, this is a big hit to Purdy if you had Purdy as like your QB1, like if you punted QB and waited on QB1, but it's got to be good for Kittle, and it should be good for Ayuk.
It's going to have to be good for Ayuk. He's going to have to be good, and he's going to now have to prove that he deserves that contract extension. So we'll see if that happens. Yeah, I guess in the one sense, you're right. Kittle should be a beneficiary. But yeah, I'd be pretty nervous rolling Purdy out in a single quarterback league. So guys like Purdy and Stafford definitely have to take a hit.
I'll tell you another guy. We talked about this a little bit before, but if you're in like a deeper league or, Juwan Jennings, he's been actually pretty good so far this year. We saw in week 1, he had a very nice game against the Jets with Brandon Ayuk kind of limited. So I think Juwan Jennings, I'd probably prefer Juwan Jennings over any of the Rams wide receivers, honestly.
That's a good point, because even though he might be third in the pecking order for targets there, the 49ers aren't really going to be able to spread the ball around that much. Because Jordan Mason, not a great pass catching running back necessarily. They don't use him that way. Right. But then it gets really shallow, because you got to think about Jennings now as the wide receiver 2. And then the wide receiver 3, I honestly would have to pull up a depth chart, because Ricky Pearsall is, still recovering. He's not healthy. He wasn't even healthy before that incident, right? He was already banged up all preseason. I don't know, honestly, who do they have after that? I'm trying to think.
Right? Yeah. I think you just want Jennings. You want Jennings.
There you go. So we're going to start looking for replacements. And I forgot to mention this with Pacheco. People are going to be wondering, who do we add in the KC backfield? And of course, you saw today in the news, Kareem Hunt going to visit. Are you in on Kareem Hunt if he's a
No.
Chief again?
No. Kareem Hunt's terrible. And I'm going to bet even if they do sign Kareem Hunt, I'm going to trust that Andy Reid is a smart enough coach to see how bad Kareem Hunt is and be like, maybe this isn't the guy that should be touching the ball that much. Because, look, they went out and picked up Pirine after the Broncos cut him. And I remember saying, like, people were like, this is bad for Pacheco. Oh, this is really bad for Pacheco. And I'm like, how bad can it be when the Broncos are like, yeah, you're not good enough for our roster? Like, you know what I mean? And you know, and look, Pirine has looked terrible this year. Like, he's looked mostly terrible. I mean, he's not getting a lot of touches, but there's a reason for that. He looks terrible, and Andy Reid is like, because we saw that game yesterday, even before when Pacheco was healthy, Carson Steele was getting run. Even with Pacheco healthy. Pirine's just like, it's 3rd and 8. Okay, go out there and maybe you can catch a pass. That's like all they're going to ask Pirine to do. And I've got to bet that Andy Reid is smart enough that when he sees Kareem Hunt in person and gives him the ball a couple times, he's like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. So for me, Carson Steele is the guy I want. Now, don't go breaking the bank for Carson Steele because, again, not a lock here. And also, Pacheco only out 6 to 8 weeks. But I think I'm in on Carson Steele. He looked great in the preseason. He's looked pretty good so far in his touches in the regular season. I think he's the one that I think he's going to fill most of Pacheco's role.
And when you think about it, when they went and got Pirine, they could have gotten Kareem Hunt. He was still hanging around with nothing to do, right? They didn't have to get Pirine. They could have gotten Hunt if they really wanted him. So this reeks of desperation, and this is depth. This is veteran depth, right?
Yeah.
Pirine is there because he's a veteran, but exactly like you said, they're gonna do what is in the best interest of the team. And look, if Steele is up to it, he'll be the early down back. What's annoying is it's probably going to be 1st, 2nd down, Steele, 3rd down, passing down, Pirine, goal line, Hunt, or whoever. So
I think Steele will be the goal line guy. He's a big dude. He's a big back.
He should be, but that's what we said about Jerome Ford last year in Cleveland. Well, so who knows?
True. That's true. I'm still betting on Steele, but again, I'm not breaking the bank here. I'm not going crazy for Steele.
No. Let's see. Any other players since we got on? Anybody else season-ending injuries?
Nobody since we got on, but I think we probably need to talk about Joe Mixon, right?
Joe Mixon did make the cut. Man, I almost feel like I spent more time talking about injuries than actual pickups on the video for this morning. But yeah, Mixon. So that was weird because he left and then came back and then he left. And we're not really sure. Is there an update on Mixon? I know it was an ankle. I mean, we saw what happened there, that hip drop tackle.
Yeah, no, we have not gotten anything definitive, but when I first saw it, I mean, my first thought, I think everybody's first thought was, hip drop tackle. And the first thing you think is like, well, first of all, why isn't there a penalty? But second of all, you think that's high ankle sprain. This is how everybody gets a high ankle sprain, hip drop tackle. But then he's on the sideline, like kind of running and testing. And he comes back in. I'm like, maybe he dodged a bullet here. And then he played like that one series and then we never saw him again. It's like, that makes me wonder if maybe he tried to go on it and then was like, ooh, this isn't right. Supposed to be getting an MRI today. I haven't heard anything about the results of that MRI yet. So, yeah, I guess, maybe we'll hear something while we're on the stream here, but yeah, he's getting an MRI today. But I mean, that looked like, I'm certainly not a Twitter doctor, but that looked like the classic hip drop, high ankle sprain tackle. And he had said something today of the league is supposed to be outlawing these tackles. Like, if you're really serious about this, put your money where your mouth is, which sounds like a guy who probably knows he suffered a not great injury, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, then that just logically leads to Cam Akers' season.
Why not? We got J.K. Dobbins season. Why not Cam Akers season 2? Let's do it.
Actually, wouldn't that just be so fitting if they both had their best seasons this year?
Man, why not? Why not at this point? At this
Is Deontay
point,
Foreman taking over in Cleveland? It's like the Achilles club. There you go. 3 for 3.
The year Achilles finally lost.
Wow. Okay. Different perspective now. All right. In other news, yeah, J.K. Dobbins. Okay, fine. I give up. You have to start him. Just start him. No question.
Start J.K. Dobbins at this point.
Just start J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
I mean, I realize Carolina, but still, just start J.K. Dobbins. And then I'd say overall, though, other than the horrible, ridiculous rash of injuries, it was a good week for fantasy in terms of some big players doing big things. It was pretty good. I felt like we nailed a lot of those booms. Got to take the L, though. Just say right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, just start him. Like, obviously, we were fooled by the one catch for 4 yards in week 1. Okay, fine. You got us, Cardinals. Thanks. Just start him, right? You can't not start him, can you?
I mean, no, you can't not start him. I hate to be that guy, because look, Marvin Harrison Jr. is great. I was not one of these people. Like, people were freaking out after week 1, like, oh, his next gen speed was so slow. Like, he looked so slow on tape. Like, oh my gosh, is he not really this good of a prospect? I'm like, relax. It was his first game. And I still think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be great this year. No doubt about it. Yes, we took the L in week 2 because we were like, I'm not risking it with Marvin Harrison Jr. And you missed out on a huge game if you took our advice. So apologies for that. But you and I were like, yeah, we'll easily take this guy late first, early second round. Ever since he was drafted, we said that. So it's not like I'm down on Marvin Harrison. But you still got to look at the fact he only had 4 catches yesterday. Now, sure, 2 of them were huge touchdowns. And okay, but it's not like he got, peppered with targets here. But still, this guy is a great talent. He's so good. Yeah, you probably just got to leave him in. But understand that, like, next week it could go back to being like 2 catches for 15 yards. You know what I mean? Because he's a rookie. Right. He's still a rookie. This isn't like, CeeDee Lamb or something. I mean, he could be, down the road, but not yet. So anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And look, there's some receivers, it's like, it's there. You take what you can get, knowing there will be down games. All right. Yep. And that was like my position with Christian Kirk. It's like, all right, he'll have down games, but a big game will come, and then you sat him on the bench, you're going to regret it. And then yesterday he did nothing again, although he should have had a touchdown, right? There was a touchdown that got called back, I think, or by a penalty, but just, I don't know. That's a different situation. We'll get into that later. But we do want to answer some of your questions because we got some time before the Monday night kickoff. So if you need some help, especially for tonight, start sit, let us know. Give us those questions. And of course, you know how this works. You got the membership, which some of our guys are already here lined up. And of course, if you do a super chat, we'll definitely answer those. That's what that's for. Before we get to those questions, though, I actually should let you know, because it is Monday, which on Underdog is now officially More Money Mondays. That sounds pretty good. Now, more money, 10% profit boost token. So you put your pick'ems right now and use that token, you can get a little extra for winning on your pick'ems. More Money Mondays. So if you already have Underdog account, go ahead and use that now while you can. If you don't have an Underdog account, well, go ahead and get one, because you can also, before the game, get a free pick. It's Jalen Hurts just getting 1 yard. So if you sign up right now for Underdog, you can use the Jalen Hurts free pick. You can also use your More Money Monday token. All you have to do is sign up on Underdog on the app, or you can go to underdogfantasy.com and use code ENDGAME. That gets you not only those free picks, but also up to $1,000 in bonus cash for your first deposit, 50% deposit match. So get free cash, free picks, and the best platform to play on. So, and you can do in-game live updating if you're watching this a little bit later. Maybe you catch this tomorrow during the game. You can do live in-game pick'ems. They update constantly. You don't have to get your picks in even before the game. And sometimes I like to do those at halftime, kind of sit and feel the way the game's going, what's going to change in the second half, and I can put those picks in there. That's something you can do. Baseball still going on, every sport. So check out Underdog. And of course, also our app. It's called Draft Lane. This is completely free, but if you download it now for a limited time, we're still going to have this offer. New customers, you're going to get $10 credit in your account so you can use any of the features for the app, which includes start sit questions, waiver, trade, and more. All sorts of different features you can use on there. And when you use those features, you can use some of them for free because you're going to get that credit. But you just need to download it. The app itself is free. Go to the App Store, Google Play Store, sign in. It syncs with your Yahoo and Sleeper leagues. You can also see your league history, rankings, and more. So again, the app is called Draft Lane. We'll be answering questions on there all night as soon as we're done streaming here. All right. Well, let's start answering questions on here first. Let's start with one of our members. It is Juice420, who's very sad about the Taysom Hill injury. I know. But he's probably really happy and doesn't care about the injury because his Saints are 2-0 and look like the best team in the NFL, just like we all thought.
Hey, I did predict that they would go from one of the worst offenses to a top 15 offense.
You did.
I didn't say I didn't say greatest offense of all time though.
You know what? Actually, I mean, this is I think pretty newsworthy. We didn't think about this. Sorry, Juice, but hold. I mean, I don't know if it is even fantasy relevant because Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, benched.
Hey, this actually gives me some hope,
right?
At least Andy Dalton is serviceable.
Yes,
so,
but I mean, doesn't that kind of mean we should be back in on Deontay Johnson?
I mean, like I said, it gives me hope. Like, okay, I'm not starting Deontay Johnson this week. No way. No, not doing it. But at least it gives me hope. Maybe this week he has a decent game, and then next week I could feel better about it. But this week I can't do this again. I can't do this again.
Yeah, I'm not saying run out and start him this week, but if he was dropped, I'm picking him up. If I have him, I'm feeling better. Andy Dalton, look, last time Andy Dalton was a starting quarterback, he was able to actually throw for positive yardage, unlike Bryce Young. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Juice. All right. Thinking of trading Kirk for Shaheed. Now, this is are we selling low and buying high here?
I mean, we are, but I mean, what do we do? Okay, sure. Christian Kirk could have scored a touchdown. But outside of that one play that could have been a touchdown, one catch. I thought last week was bad when he had like one catch for -1 yard. Like you didn't even get a yard. You didn't even get 0 yards. Like you didn't even just catch it and fall down. You caught it and lost a yard. Like, look, Shaheed is not going to keep doing this. And I don't think anybody talked about Rashid Shaheed more than I did this offseason. Because again, I said, hey, this Saints offense, they're going to run play action. They're going to run pre-snap motion. It's not going to be the offense you expect it to be. But even I didn't expect Shaheed to do this. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. And he's not going to keep doing this, right? He'd be the greatest wide receiver of all time. He'd end up with whatever, 50 catches for 2,000 yards or something. I don't know, but man, what are we getting with Christian Kirk? Like, what are we getting a boom from Christian Kirk at this point? I don't know.
Well, here's what concerns me the most. I saw this earlier that, week 2 is bad. Week 1 was in 2 games so far. Believe it or not, the Gabe Davis impact is real. Gabe Davis, 10 targets in 2 games. Brian Thomas, 9 targets. Christian Kirk, 8 targets. So he's 3rd in target share so far on his team. And even Brenton Strange, who is the backup tight end who took over for Evan Engram, by the way, Evan Engram's still there, although he's hurt too. Surprise, surprise. I did not see Gabe Davis taking over targets at this rate. Brian Thomas, sure, but Calvin Ridley was there. This was supposed to be an even swap. That concerns me.
Yep. I think I just take Shaheed. Forget it. Screw it. Just give me. Am I ever going to start Christian Kirk at this point?
I mean, I guess I can't say no to this. I feel like I hate to kind of sell low on Kirk, but maybe it's better.
I mean, look,
All right.
the Saints offense is not going to be this. It is not going to be this good all year, obviously, because I think they're on like the best pace since like the Patriots, the year they had Randy Moss or something like that. It's like crazy how good they have been. But we're seeing exactly what we wanted to see from this offense. The Saints aren't just running the most play action and pre-snap motion. They're blowing the water out of every other team. It's like they are just relentlessly running play action and pre-snap motion. And this works. It's been proven it works, and it's working for Derek Carr. And by the way, I saw what's Mina Kimes. Is that how you pronounce her name? I don't know how you pronounce her name. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She had this stat last year when using play action. Derek Carr had the highest QBR of any QB when he got to use play action. They just used it at the lowest rate last year. So I'm in on this Saints offense rest of year. Obviously, Shaheed is still going to be the number 2, and he's going to have many down weeks. And I think Chris Olave might be one of the best buy lows in all of fantasy football right now.
Yeah.
But just give me the number 2 wide receiver for this offense and not the number 3 for that Jags offense. That just getting rid of it.
Crazy. And this is funny. I noticed a little farther down here. He said, "Forget the first question."
Oh, wait, we just spent like 10 minutes talking about
Kirk.
that.
Get Darnold.
we just spent 10 minutes talking about it. You're like, oh, wait, forget it, guys. I would give him Sam Darnold for Shaheed instead.
I would take a receiver for Darnold. Oh man. Okay. Let's get Ian Rankin. Lost Pacheco. We talked about Carson Steele, probably next man up. Have Swift, White, and Irving. Swift doing lots of nothing after 2 games. And then you got a split backfield there. Can you really trust either of those? So I think you definitely need some help here. Is Carson Steele enough?
I mean, I don't know if Carson Steele's enough, but go get Carson Steele. Although I will say I still like Rachaad White. I know he had a bad game here, but Detroit once again probably going to be a pass funnel defense. Good against the run, terrible against the pass. And he got a little banged up in that game, but he had 10 carries to Irving's 7, and he still ran 67% of the routes, which is 3rd highest among all running backs this week. So I still think White has value. And they said that according to a source today, the groin strain is nothing. It's not going to be a thing. I mean, we'll see. At this point, you never know, but that's what we're hearing now. But yeah, I would still go get Carson Steele. You certainly need running back help.
Yeah, definitely need some help there. All right. So speaking of the Chiefs, here it is. If Kareem Hunt is a Chief as of tomorrow, it doesn't sound like you're adding him, but should people add him if they have Pacheco?
No, I mean, like what are we doing here? Like we always get excited for these guys. I shouldn't say we. People get excited for these guys. Oh my gosh, Dalvin Cook, he's a Jet. Oh my gosh, Dalvin Cook's a Cowboy. Oh my gosh, Ezekiel Elliott's a Cowboy. Oh my gosh, Kareem Hunt's on the Browns and Nick Chubb is out for the season. And then what do? Sure, every now and then Zeke will fall into the end zone for you. Every now and then last year, Kareem Hunt fell into the end zone for you. I'm not sure Dalvin Cook has fallen into the end zone in the last 2 years. I don't think did he even score a touchdown with the Jets? I don't even think so. But the point being, like, when it's over for these guys, it's over. They don't come back. Like, there's a reason why Kareem Hunt got cut, didn't get picked back up by the Chiefs or maybe by the Browns last year. And then even this year, knowing they weren't going to have Nick Chubb, they said, nah, go ahead. You can walk. It's fine. You can walk. Like, if the Browns thought Kareem Hunt still had some juice left, he'd be on the Browns because they knew they were starting the season without Nick Chubb. No. Carson Steele is the guy I think you're going to want, if anybody. I mean, you might not even end up wanting him. I don't know. But I think if there's anybody, it's going to be Steele.
Agree. Not a must add. I don't mind adding him for depth as long as you understand he's not a plug and play RB2. Like, not. All right. Gabriel in the house. Gabriel stopping by, not really with a question, just to give some props. We appreciate you very much, Gabriel. And I think this sums up how a lot of us feel. This could very well be fantasy football is pain. JJ out, Puka out, Higgins is being T. Higgins. Mooney, Shakir, and D-Rob is his wide receiver core. That doesn't feel great.
No, but the good news about Justin Jefferson, it's just a contusion, which a contusion, but that's just a fancy word for a bruise. He's gonna be fine. He'll play this week. Jefferson will be fine. Yeah. I mean, Higgins, let's hope he comes back at some point, and Puka, I guess season isn't over, so there's a silver lining.
Yeah. All right, we're pulling for you, Gabriel. Kiefer Abney got a question. Let's do super chats now. Will Jacobs or Henry ever boom? I don't know. I mean, I feel like Jacobs was okay yesterday.
I know it's like he didn't boom for fantasy, which was surprising to me. I just assumed Jacobs had a monster game, but I mean he had 151 yards. Like that is a boom. Now, okay, he didn't catch any passes because Malik Willis didn't throw the football, and he didn't score a touchdown. But I mean, you can't ask for more than a guy getting 32 carries and 151 yards. Like what do you want? Like what do you want? Like what do you want from Josh Jacobs? 32 carries, 151 yards. He just didn't score. But I thought Henry was good yesterday. Like I know he didn't like go off, and I know people were very, terrified because for a lot of that game, Justice Hill was out there more, but he scored another touchdown. He got you 16 points. So I mean, I guess he didn't boom, but I mean, how many guys really boom on a given week? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you how much touchdowns really factor in to your point total. I mean, Jacobs could not have done any better, but again, wasn't one of the leading fantasy point getters, I guess. And like Brian Robinson, great game, but didn't get that touchdown. If he had a touchdown, he would have been maybe the leading scorer, among running backs. But that touchdown was lacking because Washington really likes kicking field goals, or really just don't have a good red zone offense. Henry did score, though, and that's the thing. Now we see it back to back. He's going to score almost every week. Now, how many 100-plus yard games does he have left? I don't know. We'll see. But if he's scoring every week, which he honestly might do, you just keep him locked in there. So, no, I wouldn't trade either one. You should be happy you have a healthy running back.
Yeah.
Honestly. Michael Cazares. Help. I have Kyler, Nico, Waddle, Jekko. Kyron Kincaid Ford on the bench is Ridley Ladd, BTJ, Singletary, Corum, Hubbard, CMC on the shelf, and now add Pacheco to it. Shaheed is just out there on waivers. Quentin Johnson, who I felt obligated to talk about, is out there. Judy, D-Rob Dobbs, Rico, Bucky Irving.
I mean, like... I definitely think you should pick up Shaheed. I just don't know who you're going to drop here because, I mean, I guess you could drop Corum. He's honestly just a handcuff at this point. Chuba, I would have said Chuba, but now that we get the red rifle, maybe right. This offense will be serviceable. Chuba's still getting the touches. He's still getting the touches. Singletary's getting the touches. I don't think you can drop him, even though he doesn't get to play the Commanders this week.
Though I will say that I just noticed, I'm looking, he has Kyron, so I probably wouldn't want to drop Corum just because you're the Kyron Williams owner. And now you lost CMC and Pacheco. I wouldn't want to drop a running back at all because, man, you need running backs. But, well, I mean, I don't know. Would you rather have Shaheed? I guess probably Shaheed can go over Ladd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to drop Ladd McConkey, though, but at the same time, I mean, Herbert injured, but even if Herbert's playing, what's really the upside for Ladd McConkey this year? Like, he scores a touchdown. That's really what you're hoping for every week, right? He's probably not going to have a 100-yard receiving game. He's probably not going to catch 8+ passes in any game. You're just hoping he finds the end zone. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of need running back more than you need. I mean, I would probably pick. I gotta imagine Carson Steele is out there. I would get Carson Steele because you need running back. I mean, you're down Pacheco and CMC. You need running back more than you need Shaheed. You got Ridley on the bench. You got Brian Thomas on the bench. You still got Nico and Waddle, even though Waddle might take a bit of a hit. Like I would go get Steele and just hope.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna need these running backs to get you by. So. Look, I think this might be a good time to try. I just said you need running backs. Maybe sell high on Devin Singletary, sort of, if you consider that high. He had a good game. You could do some sort of a package deal here. If somebody's not panicked about Waddle, or if you want to package Singletary and Ridley for a guy like Kenneth Walker, something like that. You can try to upgrade that way too. All right. Let's go to Steve James. Mahomes, Henry, Mason, Jefferson, Nico, Kittle, Ayuk. Well, that actually is fortunate for you. On the bench is B-Rob, D-Rob, one of the J. Williams. Should I switch any off my bench to the starting lineup? I guess, are we looking ahead to week 3?
Who do the Commanders play? Cincinnati. I might put Brian Robinson over Derrick Henry, honestly. Brian Robinson has been really, really good to start the year so far. I know, like you said, he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. So, or no, he did week 1, but he didn't score a touchdown this week. So he hasn't like gone off. But man, that Cincinnati run defense is no good. BJ Hill got banged up in that game. He might be out. He's like their best run stopper. Hendrickson more like the pass rusher. He's more the run stopper. So that's just going to open things up for Brian Robinson. Ravens against the Cowboys. I know Alvin Kamara just went wild against the Cowboys, but that's because he's on the Saints. It's like he's in a cheat code offense. It doesn't count.
It still sounds weird. I have to get used to that.
I'm putting Brian Robinson. I'm actually putting Brian Robinson in over Derrick Henry this week.
Well, I will say this. I mean, he was good. Like 81 yards and a touchdown, I think. Derrick Henry totally fine this week. Did not smash the way I thought really he would smash. And of course, really thought the Ravens might actually win that game. I don't know what is going on there. That is ridiculous. They blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Raiders. So I thought they would come back stronger after last week, right? Kind of, okay, we got that loss to the Chiefs out from our system. And yet instead they did the opposite. They collapsed in a game that they were winning and should have won at home. It's not bitter at all. But anyways, Derrick Henry, it should have gone off last week, right? So how great do I feel that he's going to go off this week? No, not great. So I'm okay with that. B-Rob over Derrick Henry. You okay with having 3 49ers because they are now all going to soak up those Debo touches?
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel good about Jordan Mason at this point. I think he's like a lock. Kittle's been good to start. He's probably been the only early, I say early with quotes because he wasn't like super early, but he was fairly early. He's probably been the only early tight end that's actually been good this year. Like in both games, I'm talking like Trey McBride was good this week, but I'm talking about both games so far. He's been good, and you gotta feel better about Ayuk now. So yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, there you go. B-Rob. That's it. Let's do good news, bad news. Which one do you want to get to first?
Bad news. Let's do bad news first.
All right. Well, there you go. Fits because it's in order. All right. Antoine, you're our guy, Antoine, both baseball and the football streams. So you might remember we already took the L, and he made a point of benching Marvin Harrison to teach him a lesson.
It worked. Good job.
There you go.
It worked.
I love the positive spin. It worked. You fired him up, and he taught you the lesson. The student has become the teacher. So there you go. But he still won. He won 4 out of all 4 leagues. He had Harrison on the bench. He still won. All right. So actually, you know what? It was good news.
Yes.
And also good news, as it turns out, Alexis Aguilar. Remember, he cashed in Cup to get Brees, looking pretty good now.
But look, like you don't wanna put this juju out there because look, in our Discord after the Puka injury, there were so many people saying this is why Puka was a trap and you drafted Cup. This is why Cup was such a better value. I'm like, you might not want to be victory lapping an injury, and now those same people are dealing with the Cup injury. So just be grateful that you have Brees Hall.
There you go. Exactly. Now, is this good or bad? Alexis wants to know. He's down 41. Can Barkley and Smitty together get it done?
I mean, they can. You're talking about like what a 20 and a 21 point game. I mean, we're talking about 2 big games. 20% chance.
Somebody this afternoon actually was on the app, on the Draft Lane app, asked about chances for Devontae Smith going, I think, 21 points, but it was in half PPR. That makes it obviously tougher. And I looked it up in a full PPR and sleeper, which, that's the app we use basically. His projection in PPR is 19.65. So, the reasonable chance he gets you 20 points, and we don't always buy into projections, but I'm with that. He can get you 20. Now, you're asking for both the running back and the receiver to each get you 20. That means the Eagles are going to have to roll, right? Steamroll, which is, it's possible. I'm going to put like a 30% chance. So it is possible. There's a chance. I wouldn't say it's a great chance, but it is possible. All right. Bobby Brook across the pond. All right. Rate, suggest trades 2-0. I love to see it. Got Kyler. That's good. Aaron Rodgers. Look, I know the Packers fandom is still in there. You can let it go. Bijan, Cook, Mason, Javonte, Algier, Garrett Wilson, Flowers, McLaurin, Jaden Reed, Jamo, and Watson. McBride.
I wouldn't say you need a running back. I mean, you could use a running back. But you got Bijan, Cook, and Mason. It's not like you're hurting a running back. I don't even know if you really could use. I would say you probably need wide receiver more than you need running back. Because look, so far the Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson connection has not really been there. Flowers came through. Terry McLaurin, okay, on the good side, he had 8 targets and 6 catches. On the bad side, he had 22 yards. What? 22 yards on 6 catches? Yeah, I would say you need wide receiver more than anything here. But I mean, like, is anybody, you can't trade Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's taking Aaron Rodgers for anything. I don't think you want to trade Jaden Reed right now coming off that game that he just had because, yeah, no one probably is excited about Jaden Reed anymore, although you should be when Jordan Love comes back. So you got Jameson Williams. I think you can make do. I mean, really, like Bijan, James Cook, and Jordan Mason. This is why you're 2-0. You didn't even need Bijan yet. You're 2-0. You haven't had Bijan play yet. But they should be able to carry you most weeks. And then if when Love comes back, you'll have Jaden Reed again. Hopefully that Rodgers Wilson connection gets going. Hopefully the McLaurin Jaden Daniels connection gets going. You got Jameson. I think you're fine. You got McBride and Kyler. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, this really looks pretty good. I mean, obviously you're winning. When Jordan Love comes back, obviously you'll feel much better about Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. And look, you got Jameson Williams there. Now you feel pretty good. You can start him basically every week. And Flowers is good. You're really pretty solid. I don't think you need a trade here. The only thing I would say, and we, Chris and I, we haven't really, I guess, gotten too deep into this. Garrett Wilson. Is Garrett Wilson really going to be a top 10 receiver this year? Is he going to be worth that first round pick? I think we got to see a little bit more of Aaron Rodgers first. If for some reason you're worried about that, which again, you're 2-0, I don't think you need to make a move. You could do something there like Garrett Wilson plus, I don't know, somebody to get us like a surefire stud receiver, if that's even possible. But I wouldn't do anything, honestly, if I were you right now. What about Sir Boomer? He's got Daniels and Love. He's got Pacheco, HN, Monty, Bucky, Chase, Nico, Cooper, Ladd, Deontay, Lockett, Jacoby, Ingram, and Brooks. Who am I dropping to replace Pacheco and Ingram, who we didn't even talk about really because Evan Ingram was a pregame scratch, but it sounds like he might miss next week too.
Yeah, I mean, this year's been so bad we get Evan Ingram getting hurt in warmups.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can drop. Yeah, you can drop Jacoby Myers. He's, I guess, is that? I'm guessing that's Jamar Chase, not Chase Brown, because you listed him after Bucky Irving and before Nico. So I'm guessing that's Jamar Chase. If it's Chase Brown, I think you could drop Chase Brown. I think there's still potential for Chase Brown this year, but it's not happening right now. No one's going to pick him up. So you could drop, you could drop Jacoby. You can drop Bucky. Me getting on the Jacoby train very, very late in the offseason. Regret. But it's still only week 2. Yeah, he's saying it's
So-
Jamar Chase, so definitely don't drop Jamar Chase. Yeah, Bucky and Jacoby is fine. I think you can also drop Lockett too, but I know I'm in the minority there.
Nah, well, he's going to need for sure an Ingram replacement, I think, this week. So, I mean, obviously, get the guys who stood out, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, if they're available. It's not a lot of depth out there. But I will say, based on usage, Strange, the guy in Jacksonville, doesn't seem like a bad option. If Jake Ferguson does miss this week, you get to pick up Schoonmaker. He actually was involved too. Touchdown upside.
That's what we did when we got the alert like an hour before the game that Evan Ingram was out. I picked up Schoonmaker. He was fine. Got us a little over 10 PPR points. Look, my tight end gets me 10. I'm like, okay, especially like my last minute replacement tight end gets me 10. I'm good with that.
Oh yeah, good enough. It's the same as Juwan Johnson type who gets you 2 catches for 14 yards and a touchdown. He scored a touchdown. Get you 8 points. Okay, same thing. Speaking of the Saints again, Vinny saying with Carr playing well, should I kick Williams to the curb? We're talking.
I mean, if you're talking a 1 QB league, like a fairly shallow 1 QB league, not like a 14 or 16 teamer where there's, maybe nobody on the waiver wire. Yeah, I mean, if you drop Caleb Williams, who is picking up Caleb Williams right now? Nobody is picking up Caleb Williams. So if you need the bench spot, because there's no way I could tell you like start Caleb Williams over Derek Carr this week. That's insane. Like league winner Derek Carr. Oh man. So yeah, if you need the bench spot, you can drop Caleb Williams.
Yeah, in a 1 QB league, really, there's no need to hold him. I do think he'll get better. I know Bears fans are already like tearing up their season tickets and burning their jerseys and whatever. Let's give it some time, but you don't need to hold him in fantasy. That's for sure. All right. Dustin Forsberg, speaking of giving up on a quarterback, we talked about Bryce Young, but is Deontay Johnson viable? We talked about this a little bit at the very beginning, just to rehash here. Viable start this week?
No, I'm not. Like, I hope that Andy Dalton is the answer here. And it is a good matchup against the Raiders. That shouldn't scare you. But at the same time, it's still Andy Dalton. It's not like they traded for Patrick Mahomes or something. I'm still gonna keep him on my bench. If he has a nice game this week, great. Next week, meaning week 4, we'll start Deontay Johnson again. But this week, I can't do it. I can't. He's been so bad.
Yeah, you'd think even Dalton might need to knock a little rust off. In fact, I want to say, I'm trying to remember, did he even play in the preseason this year? I feel like he didn't, but maybe
I don't know. I honestly forgot he was even still on the Panthers. I was like, oh, he's still on the Panthers.
He's still there. Hey, look, honestly, I'm kind of sad now that he's playing for the Panthers because I really wish the Dolphins could trade for him so he could start for us instead of Skylar Thompson, but whatever. All right. He could be, though. Look, this gives us hope for Deontay Johnson. All right, Steven Youngberg. Speaking of the Dolphins, what are we doing with Waddle and Tyreek?
Well, spoiler alert, Tyreek is going to be on tomorrow's buy low video. Because Tyreek Hill, I feel like is pretty close to QB proof. And if you look at, I talk about this in the video a little bit, but if you look at the 5 games he's played without Tua in Miami, he's averaging almost 10 targets, 7 catches, and 92 yards. No, he might not have the 30-point upside that he has with Tua, but if he's getting you 6-7 catches and 80 to 100 yards, you can get by with that until Tua comes back. Waddle, I'm more nervous for because his splits definitely take a much bigger hit without Tua. So, but you can't you can't really trade Waddle, right? I mean, I guess you can, but everybody knows. It's not like your league mates are living on the rocks and don't realize that Tua's out. You know what I mean? It's not like look, 20 years ago, before like Twitter and YouTube and all that, yeah, you might be able to fleece your like, hey guys, Jalen Waddle's available, and nobody knows that Tua got hurt, right? Nobody knows because people aren't like. But now it's like as soon as it happens, that your entire league knows that Tua is hurt. Like they know that Tua is out, and they know that it's not good. So you probably just have to hold these guys, honestly.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds great. Trade Waddle for Devontae Smith. It's probably not happening. It's probably not. So you can try to trade. I'm not going to say you shouldn't try, but don't be surprised if you get rejected. Are we panicking Jamar Chase and Terry McLaurin?
I'm definitely more panicked on Terry because, again, I mean, okay, it was great. They were like, we got to get Terry involved. They got him 8 targets. They got him 6 catches, but it went for 22 yards. It's just all they're asking Jaden Daniels to do right now is quick, short passes, or hand the ball off or run. That's it. So I got to imagine at some point they're going to take the training wheels off and start to open up this offense. And when they do, that should help Terry McLaurin. But right now, you definitely got to be worried. I mean, I'm not worried about Jamar Chase. Look, Burrow looked fine yesterday. Burrow looked totally fine, totally healthy. All that worries about the wrist and the water bottle, like, again, way overblown. But I don't think it's a coincidence. I mean, I know CeeDee Lamb had a big game, but I don't think it's a coincidence that like Jamar Chase and Brandon Ayuk, who basically had no training camp, are struggling right now. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. But they'll get going.
Yeah, no reason to panic on Jamar Chase. And don't sell low on Chase. That's, again, nobody's going to be giving you, CeeDee Lamb for Jamar Chase. Like, how are you going to I mean, right. I guess maybe if you get a stud running back somehow, it's possible, but still. Terry McLaurin, I don't know, man. Talk about the offenses, and they want the quarterbacks like time to throw, time to release. Like you want it under that time, like 3 seconds or 2.5. With Jaden Daniels, it's like 2 seconds, he's gone. Like if he doesn't see somebody open, he's running.
Yep.
Like just immediately. He's like one read and go. I mean, he's not throwing a lot of interceptions, so there's that, but he's also not completing actual passes because he's just scrambling every time. So, yeah, I can't buy into McLaurin for a while. Augustin Puente, Barkley and Pitts versus Jake Elliott. Losing.
You're down 7. I think you got a pretty good chance here. I mean, look. The thing is, you never know with kickers, right? Maybe the Eagles kick 7 field goals tonight, or like, I mean, look at the Commanders. The Steelers did actually score a touchdown this week, so that was good for them. But I gotta think down 7 with Barkley and Pitts versus the kicker. If I had to bet, I'd bet on your team.
Oh yeah, Barkley alone should be able to be enough for you, and Pitts should do something. So you definitely should win. Yeah, you should have a good chance to win. If not, you can definitely be angry at the Eagles kicking field goals. All right, what about Joe? Joe Castles up by 2 with London to play versus Goddard.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go, Kirk Cousins. It's time. It's time for you to show why they paid you $1 bazillion.
And then drafted a quarterback in the first round.
It makes me wonder if maybe the Falcons knew something like, maybe our big time investment isn't healthy enough.
How horrible really would that be? How bad of a look is that if they found out after they signed him to that deal and then drafted a quarterback? Like, maybe you should have vetted this guy a little bit better.
Right.
All right, let's do Marco Pelletieri. He's always with us. He's saying he's having trouble with the chat feature. No problem. Needs real help.
Okay.
Pat Mahomes. There's Pacheco, Etienne, Amon-Ra, Deontay Johnson, Ford. All right. In this case, trading Purdy, absolutely, and Ford for Ayuk.
Yeah, just get Ayuk. Get Ayuk. He's got to get better, and they're going to need him now. Like, yes, Marco, do this. Definitely.
Yes, that's an easy yes. You were just saying like, hey, you don't have to hold on to Purdy. Somebody's trading for Purdy right now. Do it.
Yep.
What about Alan Wendling? Moves for the team besides the terrible wide receiver room. Right. Got Lamar, JT, and Etienne. Okay. Yeah, I see. Keenan, Pittman, Bowers, Pollard, Ty Chandler, Rashad Bateman, Demarcus Robinson, Jalen Naylor, and Greg Dortch. I'm not going to lie, it's not the best receiver room, but I think we can be patient on Pittman.
Yeah, but I'm a little nervous for Pittman again this week. they get who do the Colts? I was looking at it earlier. The Bears, who, if nothing else, last night, that defense is legit. The defense is legit. So it might be another down week for Pittman, but I'm not giving up on him yet. Bowers looks good. JT looks as good as he can look in that offense right now. Etienne looks fine. You got Lamar. Hopefully you get Keenan back. Pollard looks pretty good too, actually. Pollard looks good. I got him on the buy low. I mean, I don't see any major moves here. It's not like you have a position of major strength where I feel like, okay, trade a little bit of your strength to get the other position better. It's kind of like your running backs are good, but not super deep. Your wide receivers are okay, but not super deep. You have a good tight end. You have a good QB. Yeah, I don't really know. Unless you try like a 2-for-1. But I don't want to trade away JT or Etienne because then, I mean, I guess you could try to roll with Pollard as your RB2. Like if you tried to package maybe like Etienne and DeMarcus. Maybe people are high on DeMarcus Robinson now because Kupp is also out. Maybe you try to package Etienne and DeMarcus Robinson and get a better wide receiver and then just roll with Pollard as your RB2. It's a possibility.
That's exactly what I was thinking. DeMarcus Robinson is probably the only player on your bench that really has trade value. But then I thought, okay, yeah, you could roll with Pollard as your RB2, but then who are you flexing? You're flexing. You're going to have to get a good enough player that you can flex or start at wide receiver and then hope Keenan Allen plays and then flex him. And this is a 14-team league. Well, that's probably the way to go. If you can get DeMarcus Robinson as somebody who is high on him. All right, from Brazil back to the UK, Bobby Brook. Running back the rest of the season, who you like here the best? Jalen Wright, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Garendo, Carson Steele.
I'm going to give Steele the slight edge just because he has the path right now. Probably Braylon Allen would be my number 2. Looked good yesterday. Like Brees is still the guy. Robert Saleh even said today a quote about Braylon Allen. He talked up Braylon Allen, but then he ended it with, "So we feel good about him. We feel good about him when Brees Hall needs a rest," something like that. So he's still behind Brees Hall. But look, if something happens to Brees Hall, Braylon Allen almost certainly a league winner. So I think I have to put him. I have to put him 2. The other ones are kind of like probably Ray Davis 3rd because I feel like he's probably next man up in Buffalo if something happened to James Cook. Garendo last. Garendo, yeah, I don't think Garendo's going to do anything.
Yeah, I know 49ers running back, but still, I'm also putting Garendo last there. I'll still put Braylon Allen first, Carson Steele second. Wright, Davis, Garendo. That's how I would rank them. And then Rise, feeling the pain of that Pacheco injury. Lost Pacheco 1-1, still in it. You're still fine. Sun God, they really played this off. They're saying it was just a contusion, like he should be fine.
Yeah, they're saying he should be fine. So I wouldn't worry about Sun God. But yeah, Pacheco hurts because, man, that one hurts. No way around it.
It's funny because all the Pacheco owners were all fired up because of that big man touchdown. That he didn't get the touchdown on the 1-yard line. Now you got another reason to be upset. It's not because of that. All right, Chris KT, would you trade Henry and Debo to get Sun God?
Well, yeah, Debo dealing with a calf strain now. Henry looks like he's just going to be like fine this year, but nothing special. Get the Sun God. Get Sun God for sure.
I wonder because this question came out right after we went on. We just found out about the Debo thing. I wonder if he knew about this before asking this question, or if the person you're offering this to knows about this. I mean, if they didn't before, they'll know now.
Yeah, they probably don't know now because, I mean, unless they're really on top of things.
I mean, given that Debo's going to be out multiple weeks, sure, I would do that now. And then Brandon Ahmed wants to know, okay, what is the realistic ceiling for Ayuk with Debo out?
I mean, we've seen his ceiling. This guy can get you 20 to 30 points on any given week. So
Top 10? Top
What's
10
that?
fantasy receiver?
I mean, maybe because look, fantasy, it's been terrible for passing this year so far. Like terrible. So maybe, I mean, who CD? I still gotta have Tyreek top 10. Jefferson for sure. AJ Brown when he's healthy. I still gotta have Chase top 10. But I mean, yeah, then who?
Yeah.
Now Cup's gone. Garrett Wilson doesn't look like it. Evans, maybe. Nico, probably top 10. Debo's out now. Yeah, probably top 10. Rashee Rice, maybe up there. But yeah, maybe probably pretty close to top 10.
Could be a wide receiver 1 for fantasy. So I think that's reasonable. Low end. He's not going to necessarily be the top receiver in fantasy, but could definitely be up there. All right, let's keep the San Francisco talk going now. Rest of the season. Okay, look, I know Shaheed has been good, but let's not put him quite in this tier yet. Ayuk or Godwin? I mean, I guess it has to be Ayuk. Does Godwin have top 10 ceiling?
He might. The way they're using him, 62% of his routes from the slot this year. Look how good this guy has been. Like Chris Godwin was once the wide receiver 2 in fantasy. And look, it's a calf strain for Debo. It's not a season ender. So, Debo's going to be back. CMC is probably going to be back, let's hope. I don't know. It's close. But yeah, Shaheed not even in this conversation. Sorry. I know Shaheed's had those 2 big touchdowns, but yeah. It's close here.
Yeah, I mean, like if you forced me to choose Ayuk or Godwin, I'm gonna go Ayuk, but it is close. It's not Shaheed though. Not Shaheed.
No.
All right. Let's see. Ethan Struby. It did. I mean, overall went pretty well. Oh, and he's 0-2. I guess it didn't go well. All right. Let's get it right for this time. Now let's see. Lamar, Kyron, Mondre.
What?
JJ, DK.
How did you lose? You had Kyron, Mondre, Jefferson, DK, who went off. I mean, okay, you had Likely and Pittman, but Rashid had a big game. How did you lose? How did you lose? You must have gotten incredibly unlucky this week, or you didn't start Ramondre, you didn't start Metcalf, but I don't who are you start? There's nobody here you're starting over Metcalf.
Yeah, none of those bench players should have been. Look, maybe went against a team that had, James Cook and
Alvin Kamara,
Marvin Harrison and Alvin Kamara. Yeah, Alvin Kamara probably wrecked a lot of people's weeks single-handedly. So yeah, I mean, you had a lot of good players in your lineup, so you did all the right moves. So it's anyways. All right, moves to make here. I mean, I don't see anything to change in the starting lineup. It's good.
I mean, I hope you didn't spend a ton of fab on Likely. Oh man, how much regret do people have dropping? I saw people drop 30% of their fab on Isaiah Likely. Yeah, this team should not be 0-2. Kyron has been good both weeks. Ramondre Stevenson's been good both weeks. JJ's been good both weeks. Okay, DK Metcalf was terrible week 1, but he was great this week. Okay, you probably didn't have Likely in week 1, I'm guessing. Yeah, Pittman's been bad, but Shaheed's been good. This team should not be 0-2.
No. It'll get better.
Yeah.
All right. Here, of course, Boomer, here to ask the hard questions. Is it finally time to look at the...
Is he even healthy? He was out this week with a hamstring injury. Is he even healthy?
He just wanted to make sure that name got some airtime. And no, it is time to look finally at Cam Akers. Maybe. All right.
I hope we still not heard anything on Mixon, by the way.
Is in the house.
What's up, Anthony?
Thank you very much, as always. And Pat Mack, new member. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
All right. Let's see. Next question here, which, by the way, actually, this might be a good time to stop. We're about halfway through tonight's stream. It's not as long because, you know, Monday Night Football. So most of your lineups are already set for week 2 and not much you can do. But what about your pick'ems? You got your pick'ems set for tonight. You still got plenty of time. And if you didn't know, it's More Money Mondays on Underdog. That means profit boost. Everybody gets a token you can use, whether you are new or not. You already have that Underdog app, which I know a lot of you do, especially Boomer. Use that profit boost, get that token, 10% boost for you. If you don't already have an Underdog account, go ahead and get one. You have time before tonight to take this free pick. It is Jalen Hurts just getting 1 yard. Go higher on that, and you get a free pick there along with the profit boost token. You can also use picks for tonight's game, or you can wait until they start dropping next week's picks, which I think some of them are already rolling out. And you can use it for anything else as well. It doesn't have to be just NFL. Anything that's on there, and there's a ton, trust me. So new customers for Underdog, just make sure if you're signing up for the first time, if you want to check it out and see what everyone's talking about, just make sure you use code ENDGAME because that, besides the free picks, gets you your deposit match up to $1,000 of bonus cash when you do it right now using that code. And that, again, don't know how long. I feel like it's been a while. They've extended that limit of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Don't know if it's going to last forever. So again, this is a good time to take advantage of all these offers that they have since it's the beginning of the NFL season. And it's always a good time to download Draft Lane because it is a free app that connects you with us. So if you're on here asking questions, starts it, waiver wire, trade, or just general questions. Anything you got, you want to connect with us when we're not live streaming, use Draft Lane, and you also get $10 credit for a limited time for signing in. That's all you got to do. Just download the app for free, sign in, and you can start using it right away. So definitely worth checking out. Okay. We're going to continue with J1364. Needs 3. Taylor, Etienne, Ford, Mason, and Monty. All right, looking ahead.
Yeah, I got to go Taylor, Etienne, and Mason. I know Taylor didn't score, but man, he's looked so good. Etienne still, like Tank Bigsby, I think they're saying the shoulder injury is fine, but a little banged up. Etienne's still getting the goal line, still getting the pass catching, and I feel like Mason is just a must. So Taylor, Etienne, Mason for me.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor, no doubter. Mason, at this point, it's just set and forget. Man, Ford, where did Deontay Foreman come from? Where he just emerged, and they decided they really needed to get him the ball a lot. So, yeah, I think we got to still go Etienne over Monty for now. All right, Pat Mack does have a question. I need 25 plus points to win with Pitts and Bijan. What are the odds?
Yeah, I mean, if it's PPR, I think you definitely have a shot. I mean, you're talking about like 15 from Bijan and 10 from Pitts. That's not a big ask, really. But if it's half or non-PPR, that's going to be tougher. But assuming it's PPR, I like your chances.
I feel like this is kind of 50-50. I feel like you have a pretty good chance, but it's not a lock because Pitts, we don't really know. We did see him involved in week 1, and he, of course, scored a touchdown. But he might not be, especially if they do try to get the ball at Drake London, which they should. Realistically, I feel like that's going to be a thing because remember, it's a new offensive coordinator there, and not just new to the Falcons, like new for the first time actually being an offensive coordinator. Kirk Cousins' first game with Atlanta. I feel like they're going to try to right the wrongs and get London the ball. Pitts will still do something, but if you don't get a touchdown there, get a few points from him. Bijan, I think, is going to probably carry you if anything happens here. So you do have a shot. If nothing else, the Eagles being the kind of offense that should put up a lot of points again means the Falcons should have to kind of catch up in a lot of receptions here. So I think you've got a shot. Daniel Mosley, would you trade Pittman and Ramondre for Ayuk, knowing Debo's out?
But again, it might only be a few weeks for Debo. Ramondre's been great so far. I know Pittman's been bad. But I got to think Pittman will get better. Man. I feel like this is one of those trades where you make it and you're like, for the first few weeks, you're like, yes, I totally fleeced that guy by getting Ayuk. And then Pittman starts to get rolling. Ramondre is still good. Debo comes back, and then you're like, oh man, I wish I had Pittman and Ramondre back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You always have to look long term, right? The here and the now. This looks like a great deal. I mean, Pittman's not going to. Well, and let me just say, not just Pittman hasn't done anything. Alec Pierce is not going to be the leading receiver for the Colts the rest of the season. I can almost guarantee that.
Right.
Pittman should be better, but better enough is the question. It's pretty close.
Yeah, I think I'm taking Pittman. Normally, I want the best player in the deal, which I still do think is Ayuk, but I think I'm just going Pittman or Ramondre here. And
yeah, I also think, I don't know, is Ramondre what, your RB3? If so, I mean, props for having two better running backs, but I generally don't want to give up a workhorse running back, unless I'm really getting, like, if this was CeeDee Lamb, okay, you got to do it.
right.
But yeah, I don't know if I use enough. And all right, we'll give short season, just got that membership. Yes. We'll give this dad joke some airtime.
There you go.
DJ Moore. All right. It is more Money Mondays. Don't forget. We have Joe 1-1 in a 10-teamer happy PR. Got Hurts, HA, Connor, Jettis, Devontae Smith, McBride, Mason, with Amari Warren, JSN on the bench. I mean, look, you can be excused for leaving JSN on your bench with these guys. I'll say, feeling great, but feel I need to trade before CMC returns.
I mean, maybe this is definitely something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. And if you have Mason and you don't have CMC, you're probably gonna want to get ahead of this and try to trade Mason before CMC comes back. Of course, you can't, because once they say, okay, CMC's coming back next week, nobody's. I mean, sure, maybe the person with CMC will take Mason, but they're only going to take him on the cheap.
Right.
But we don't have to worry about that for a while. So let's just, and honestly, there is still a chance. I'm not saying that this is going to happen because I don't know, but there is still a chance we don't see CMC this year, or he comes back and like says, nope, I can't play. And then they shut him down. So, yeah, just ride with Mason for now. But I like that you're thinking ahead a little bit, though.
Yeah, I love the thought process here. This is exactly what we preach, right? Getting ahead of the game, not looking back, looking ahead. And absolutely, we'll always say sell high. Sell when you feel like the value is peaked. But we don't know if it has for Jordan Mason. Like you said,
right.
You got Jordan Mason as the clear workhorse RB1 for San Francisco for at least 3-4 more weeks. At least.
Yep.
What if it's all season? What if it's 8 more weeks? You know what I mean? So eventually, you might do this eventually, but not yet. And you've got a really good team, so you're good. I mean, Mason's what, your third running back, or I guess Connor's your third running back. So yeah, you're good.
You're good.
All right, live wire down 23. Got London. In the kicker. Kicker Jake Elliott.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What do you think?
23 is PPR. I think you got a chance. I mean, again, you get 10 from your kicker. You only need 13 from London. I think you got a good chance. And yeah, asking about Dell. Look, I'm not. Okay, he didn't boom. If you went out and traded for Dell, it didn't work out for you for the first week. But man, he should have had like a 70-yard, 60-yard touchdown, whatever that was. I don't know what he was doing with that pass. And in week 1, he had another play similar to that. So I still feel like the opportunity is there for Dell. Just hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. Can't guarantee it'll be this week though, but it probably will be this week because I said last week he will boom, which means he'll probably boom this week.
That's the way it works. I know. that was really aggravating because yeah, it feel like he should have had it. And they even said right in the broadcast, like, what happened? Did he lost it in the lights or what? You know, it's like
Yeah.
he hit him like almost in the helmet. He was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know it's frustrating, and of course they can't always go off, but I'm not selling or panicking on Dell either. You know, he's still in a really good offense with a really good quarterback.
Yeah, and the opportunity. Look, I would still rather have Dell than Stephon Diggs out there getting you like 40 yards. Like, okay, he'll get you points, but you know, Dell's got way more upside, and it's gonna connect. It's gonna start connecting. Dell and CJ Stroud are too good. It's gonna start connecting.
Right. And if anything, maybe take Dell. This might be a time to buy low. But yeah, WTF is pretty appropriate for last week.
Yes.
You have a decent chance. Obviously, you need London to do something significant. I think it could happen. Look, I don't know they're going to force the ball to him, but I think you do have a decent shot. I wouldn't, say it's great, but it's a shot. Brother Pickle, more injuries. Mixon, White's fine. Bigsby, okay. In a tight end premium league was tentatively offered. JSN and Mason for Nico. All right, let's see. That's interesting. Now here's the roster. This is tight end premium, although none of those are tight ends. But here's the roster: Mixon, White, Brown, Irving, Bigsby. Not too great. Chase, Nico, Puka, Sheehy, D-Rob, Reynolds, Dortch, and tight ends.
This is tough because JSN. Is it happening? Is a breakout happening for JSN?
I was super high on JSN all throughout the preseason and the Seattle pass offense. Now I do realize they had to pass more because Kenneth Walker was out, but they were able to pass more, and both of those guys had huge games. And I'm sorry, DK, I'll never doubt you again, but JSN, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, but man, Nico looks like he's going to be a monster again. And Mason, like, what happens if, like, again, I feel like this is one of those deals where you make that deal now and you feel good because Mason is rolling, JSN maybe is going, and then all of a sudden CMC comes back, and now you just traded basically JSN for Nico, and now you're like, oh, can I have Nico back? So I think it's close. Like, if CMC was out for the season, I'd say take the JSN and Mason side for sure.
Oh yeah.
But knowing that Mason may not be the guy, like, sure, he could be the guy all year, but he might not be the guy all year. I don't know. Nico looks so good. I think I'm just going to take the sure thing here with Nico.
I will say in this case, because he has so many injuries, and not just Mixon, who we don't know, maybe out a week or two, who knows, but Puka out for a while. Let's see what else. It's a tight end premium league. Yeah, his tight ends are the ones that are hurt. Ingram and Njoku, both probably going to miss next week, along with last week. I mean, I think I might almost take it just to fill a roster, like fill a starting lineup. And then, look, if CMC is going to come back, you get ahead of it maybe 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, see what you can get for Mason. I mean, I think you almost have to do this deal because if not, you're going to be looking at, I don't know. Oh, I don't know what your record is, but I'm just saying. This team is pretty down bad right now. I might take it. Anthony, just saying what's up. All right.
Thanks, Anthony.
We did talk a little bit about this, but what's the value of Pirine and Carson Steele now?
I don't think Pirine's role, with or without a Kareem Hunt signing, I don't think Pirine's role is changing. I think he's just going to be when we need you out there on third down to potentially catch a pass, he'll be out there guy. I still think Steele is going to take most of the Pacheco role. So again, if I have to pick one, it's going to be Steele.
Yeah, let's not go crazy, especially on the fab front, for these guys. But definitely you can pick up one or the other if you need a running back, which a lot of us do because of Pacheco. And Big Luscious, what is up? I missed you too.
What's up, Big Luscious?
This is this insane? Do I sell Chris Godwin and Jalen Warren for Jamar Chase?
I mean, you probably have to, right? You probably have to gamble on Jamar Chase getting back. to being what he was. I know it's not going to be fun trading Chris Godwin right now, but I mean, Jalen Warren, like, okay, whatever. I think you have to. This is the kind of trade that could like turn your team into a champion. If Jamar Chase, I mean, and look, Burrow looked good, so I'm not worried about Burrow. Now it's just up to Chase. Now it's just up to Chase to get there.
Yeah, I think the key thing there is the current wide receiver one. I mean, look, Godwin, great. No concerns about Godwin, but I'm not sure I can put him over Chase for the rest of the season. So yeah, I'll do it. Warren is whatever.
Right.
Antonio Slobotsky. Have Pacheco, Amon-Ra, Pittman, Waddle, and White. What should I do? Am I dead? No, you're not dead.
Am I dead? I mean, no. Amon-Ra is still great. Pittman should get better. Waddle will be fine. I think White will still be fine. Yeah.
Obviously, not feeling great about this team right now. Obviously, if you got Pacheco, pick up either a Carson Steele or Samaje Perine. You know, you're going to just have to be active on waivers for sure. It sounds great to trade Waddle, but don't know what you can get for him. So you're not dead, though. Don't worry. Not dead. Pittman should be better. Master Zonk. Welcome. Scary Terry for Deontay Johnson. Is this a buy low that you're taking?
I don't even buy low, sell low?
Sell low, yeah, low for low. Cash exchange.
I don't even know. Sure. Go for Deontay Johnson, I guess, and hope Dalton's the answer. I could still see Terry being better as the season goes on and Jaden Daniels, and they start to get more confidence with him. But yeah, this is like, which wide receiver bust do I want?
I would do it. Sure. Why not? Because I feel, well, we already know what change has been made in Carolina. I don't know how long it'll take before things change enough for Terry. So, yeah, why not? Mike, would you trade Purdy, Aaron Jones, and Laporta for Josh Allen and Andrews?
Yes. How come nobody is asking about Laporta? Nobody but me is worried about Laporta because, oh, hey, guess what? They actually have a real number 2 wide receiver now. It's not just Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta show anymore. They actually have a number 2 wide receiver who can get targets.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, Andrews wasn't great in week 2, but he's much better, and I think he'll only get better. Allen is a huge upgrade. Give me Allen and Andrews.
I'm not sure really with the injuries here, or maybe I guess people don't all know about Debo. I don't know. People seem to be trading for Purdy. After last week, they think they're buying low. Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm doing this. I'll take Josh Allen over Purdy, and I'm totally fine with Andrews. Laporta, I think, going to wind up being one of the bigger fantasy busts this season. Just saying. Like, this is one where you say, oh, it's early, don't panic. And then this summer, like, yeah, I thought this might happen. So, Young Money's in the house. What's up? Ford and Tyreek, or Jaden Reed and Achane.
Honestly, I think I'm going Reed and Achane. I mean, look, the only thing that can stop Achane, it's not going to be Mike McDaniels, because he said today he thinks Achane needs more touches. What? So the only thing that's going to stop Achane is an injury, which, look, it's certainly possible, especially if Mike McDaniels really does give him more touches. And when Jordan Love is back, I definitely want Jaden Reed over Jerome Ford. So I'm going to take the Reed Achane side.
I'm going to agree, because now I think we legitimately have to worry about Ford's role, or why Stefanski doesn't really want him to be the lead back for some reason, keeps trying to replace him with these veteran running backs off the street. Jaden Reed will be better rest of the season with Love comes back. Yeah, take the Achane side. And then just noticed this, Big Lush just did re-up the membership. Thank you.
Appreciate
Appreciate it. All right. Chris Laborde. All right. You're going to have to come out publicly and say Kamara is not dust.
I don't know how this is happening because it's not the offensive line because his offensive line is terrible. Look, first of all, credit to Kamara. He looks amazing. He looks great. Can't take anything away from Kamara. He looks great. Derek Carr looks great. But I'm giving all the props to Clint Kubiak. It's Clint Kubiak. This offensive line is terrible. If they were playing the same offense they were playing last year, Alvin Kamara would be terrible. Derek Carr would be terrible. He'd be getting sacked repeatedly. Alvin Kamara would be getting hit for. It's Clint Kubiak. It's guys. The power of play action and pre-snap motion is unbelievable. What it makes defenses have to do and how defenses have to defend and how hard it is. So look, credit to Kamara. This guy looks like he went back in time, but it's this offense. It's Clint Kubiak. So yeah, but hey, it's working. It is working.
Absolutely, because the other teams that do this the most behind the Saints now, let's see, the Dolphins, the 49ers, the Rams, maybe seeing those offenses be successful. And that's why a lot of those systems, they just plug and play players and they go off, right? It's like whoever's receiver for the Rams going to have value. Whoever's at running back for the Dolphins, 31-year-old Raheem Mostert, rookie you never heard of, Jalen Wright. It doesn't matter. It's like somebody will just take that role and succeed because of the system. So a lot of times the system matters more than the talent. And I guess the Saints now have that system. Who would have thought Clint Kubiak was?
I was saying, I think they're going to do this at a ridiculously high rate. And Derek Carr, I think, is my highest drafted quarterback on Underdog, believe it or not, for as much as I railed on him. And I do have more Alvin Kamara than I probably wished I had. Although now, after the first two games, I wish I had more. But yeah.
I do wish I had more Kamara at this point. Like, we'll see if it sustains itself.
Look, I know Joe Mixon got hurt last night, but Joe Mixon was terrible before he got hurt last night. He had like 20 yards before he got hurt last night. After week 1, everybody was pounding. Oh, I told you, Joe Mixon. You didn't listen to me about Joe Mixon. Like, it's still only week 2.
Yeah. Too early for victory laps, for sure.
Is this the opposite of a hot take?
Well, I'm assuming, Russell, you're saying they're going to keep it up. So we'll see. I mean, can't doubt it. We've seen it now twice. I mean, against a really good defense on the road in Dallas. So
yeah, you can't doubt them anymore, right? You can't doubt them anymore.
Connor Trattoria was offered, I'm guessing, Godwin for Olave. What do you do?
I mean, I do think Olave is a great buy low, but Godwin's already playing well. Like, why not just take Godwin?
Yeah, that's not low. Just keep Godwin. There's no reason to trade him. Wait a minute. Offered Godwin for my Olave. Oh,
yeah,
for
so
my
it
Olave.
Like somebody said, "Do you want Chris Godwin?" And I'll take Olave.
Okay.
Because he's saying for my Olave, meaning he already has Olave. I think.
Okay,
that's how I read it.
So you taking Godwin?
Yeah, Godwin's already like. Again, I believe in this Saints offense, not to the degree we've seen for the first 2 games, but I believe in the Saints offense. Derek Carr only threw 16 passes yesterday, and 6 of them went to Chris Olave. He's not going to be able to hit 60, 70-yard bombs to Rashid Shaheed for 17 straight games. There's going to be games where they're not just routing their opponents and sitting all the starters in the fourth quarter. And it's probably going to be the rest of the season that this is going to happen. And Olave did get tackled at the 1 yesterday, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
So I do still believe in Chris Olave. I think he's a great buy low, but Godwin's already been phenomenal. Why not just take Godwin? Not even worry about it.
Exactly. All right. NTY 10 team PPR was starting Debo, Mason, and Moody on most weeks. Well, I don't know if kicker is the consideration here. You're definitely going to have some differentiation here now that Debo's out of your lineup. But kicker, thoughts?
Pick one. Look, if you don't have
I think you're okay with Moody.
Yeah, whatever. If you don't have the Commanders kicker or the Steelers kicker, it probably does, or maybe the Dallas kicker. It doesn't even matter. Justin Tucker, hasn't he missed twice this year already?
Justin Tucker is no longer an elite long distance kicker. That's facts. I think you're fine with Moody. Just stick with Moody. All right. Need tight end, Hunter or Gesicki. So I mentioned them both. Who would you prefer?
Who are the Hunter? I'm going Gesicki because A, he gets the Commanders, and B, he's got Joe Burrow.
Yeah. And I said it in the waiver wire video. I mean, I talked about them both, but this week you got to go with Gesicki. It's the Commanders. Right. T. Higgins probably not playing this week, I'm guessing. So I think right now you got to go with Gesicki. Vikings, Bills, or Bengals for defense. Okay, so the Bengals get the Commanders. That's not bad. The Bills get it's Monday night.
Jaguars, Vikings, Texans. The thing with the Bengals against Commanders is they do have Trey Hendrickson. He can get some sacks, but like you said, Jaden Daniels not turning the ball over because it's such a conservative offense. So I don't think the Bengals have that big game upside. I might just go Bills at home against the Jaguars. I know the Vikings defense has been good, but still it's CJ Stroud. Jaguars offense has not impressed me, and the Bills defense, I'll admit, I didn't think they were going to be this good. So I might go Bills at home against the Jags.
Yeah, let's go with the best real-life actual defense. Go with the Bills. All right, Arvin Angelis, 12-man PPR. Here is the squad. Pacheco is out and Swift is not good, or at least the offense isn't good. I don't know if it's just Swift. Would you trade CD to improve at RB because you got Pacheco and Swift in this case?
Yeah, but then you're left with, you have to get, if I'm going to trade CD, I got to get I either got to get a Brees or a Bijan, or I got to get a Kyron, Pacheco's gone now, a JT, somebody like that, plus another good wide receiver like an Ayuk, like Devonta Smith, somebody like that. Otherwise, no, because let's say you trade CD for Brees. Now you're rolling out London, Jameson Williams, and I guess Pickens is your wide receivers, and now you're like, oh man, now my wide receivers aren't very good. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you would have to get a really good running back and a good wide receiver. So you're going to have to try to kind of buy low. And I'll say again, because maybe he misses this week, but should be back. Kenneth Walker, this might be a good time to get him. Maybe Ayuk coming off of 2 bad games. If you can do like Kenny Walker and Ayuk, okay, maybe I'd do it because this helps your team. But lower than that, not worth it. ASAP Cams. T and Moss or Javonte. Oh, T and either Moss or Javonte, whatever, for Olave.
Just give me Olave at this point. I keep talking about it. I think he's a good buy low. Give me Olave.
Neither of those running backs really are factors here. Would I rather have the healthy receiver and a good offense or T. Higgins? Give me Olave. Frosty, 2-0. If Hurts gets me 12. Okay, so let's just assume 2-0. But needs RB and tight end help. Who should I flip? Okay, you got Hurts. Jefferson, Waddle, Godwin, Ridley, and Demo. All right. Etienne, Ford, Najee, Sharps, Corum, Ferg, Park.
I don't think you need tight end help. I know Parkinson wasn't great for fantasy this week, but look, now that Cup's out, maybe he'll get better. But also Ferguson, there was some talk that he could play. He could be back this week or next week. So I don't really think you need tight end help. As far as running backs, Etienne, Ford, you need running back help, but I guess you could try to package Waddle or maybe Ridley coming off a huge game, Ridley and Najee, and try to upgrade at running back. Try to get, I feel like people are a little down on Kyron. I feel like people aren't very excited about JT. Guys like that.
Yeah, I do think
even Kenneth Walker, since you have Charbonnet, so that way you just roll with Charbonnet until Walker comes back.
There you go. Perfect. I think you could use running back help. I agree on that. Tight end, you'll be fine. So there you go. But don't feel like you have to force something. Eddie J. Thin at wide receiver. Now, this is a standard league, so I guess that's not as important, but this is a waiver question. So in a standard league, do you like Jalen Naylor, QJ, Alec Pierce, or Juwan Jennings?
I think I go Juwan Jennings for now.
Yep.
For now, Juwan Jennings with Debo out.
Yeah, I would go Jennings as the first choice here. I'd probably put Naylor second. I really like Naylor. And then got offered Shaheed for Waddle.
Nah, just hold Waddle. Just hold Waddle.
Yeah. Little Isaiah. Got Dell, Rice, Ayuk, London, Brees, JK, and Pacheco. Should I take Josh Jacobs or Ayuk and Zeke?
So Josh Jacobs for Ayuk, basically.
Right.
I think I just want Ayuk.
Well, look, here's the thing. You lost Pacheco, obviously. But it looks like J.K. Dobbins is must-start territory now. Brees and J.K., just roll with it. I mean, just hope he stays in one piece until Pacheco comes back, or maybe this is it. This is the J.K. Dobbins full season breakout. Maybe. Yeah, I would just stick with Ayuk. And then thoughts on players like T. You know my thoughts on T.
I think T will be fine if he ever comes back. Kincaid, I'm definitely nervous about. I think Kincaid will be fine, but I don't know if Kincaid's going to be that elite tight end we were hoping for. We'll see.
Kincaid, I'm still holding out hope. Maybe he won't be the tight end one, but he should at least be a tight end one. Axe Rock Mireles. DK for Olave. That's a tough one.
I mean, I was super high on DK Metcalf too this offseason. This one's really close. I think I probably just take DK.
This one is close. This is really, really tough. And I know we don't overreact to last week, the DK monster game, but we were talking of DK a lot right before draft season ended. And I've been all over the Seattle offense all off season, and it didn't take long before we saw it. So I know I still technically had Olave higher in my rankings. I don't know. I think I might prefer DK too. Raymond. Waddle for Cooper. This is
no. I mean, Cooper, what is going on with Cooper? Like, just give me Waddle with Skylar Thompson.
I know. And look, good news is Tua is not retiring. There's that. They're sounding like it's probably going to be like last time, 4 weeks. It might be longer, but should be back mid-season. Just hope, pray everything goes well there. Yeah, Deshaun Watson's going to be there all season. So let's just go with Waddle. I mean, he was better, at least. All right, Bobby Brook again. How much fab on Braylon Allen?
Oh, man, you're already down to 42%. I mean, I wouldn't spend a lot on Braylon Allen. Because, again, Brees is still the guy. I mean, if you're desperate at run, but you know what I worry? I worry this is going to be like a who do we see? Who was I can't remember who it was. Talking about this in the Discord, but like the guy like, oh, maybe, and then he barely like touched the ball the next week. But anyways, I don't remember who it was. But anyways, I don't know. 5% if you're maybe 10 if you're like desperate. 5 probably though.
Yeah, but Bobby's team, I remember from earlier, he's not down bad at all. He's good. I mean, 5% seems reasonable. He's not a must add. I know he's very high upside add, but not somebody who's, going to be instantly thrust into your starting lineup. So, especially you only got 42% left. Let's keep it reasonable.
Yeah.
All right. We're not too off far off from game time, so we're gonna catch up on super chats. But also, if you do happen to have any questions for tonight, haven't had a whole lot of them, but any Monday specific questions, we'll try to get to those immediately. But let's do Mo right now. So with this lineup, Gibson or the waivers, okay, Deontay Johnson, Juwan Jennings, one of those running backs, Carson Steele. Okay, so what's the priority with this team? I think the receivers are pretty good. RNZ White, worthy. I mean, I don't know. Are you dropping any of those players, really, is the question. I don't think so.
I would drop DeMarcus Robinson for Deontay Johnson, definitely. Let's see Deontay with Andy Dalton. Drop DeMarcus Robinson for Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, that's probably it. All right. How about this one? So Justin needs Drake London, score 30 points in half PPR. Should I tank? Well, I don't know what good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you tank. Like, what, bench Drake London? I mean, he's probably not going to get 30 half PPR points. You never know. So you might as well just start him.
I mean,
was it one of those leagues where like the lowest scoring team gets the number one waiver pick this week? So if he takes him out, he'll be the lowest scoring team. I don't know. Like,
that might not sit well with the rest of the league, though, if they see you do that. So
right, just play Drake London. You never know. Maybe he gets 31 half PPR points and you pull out the win. You never know.
Stranger things have happened, that's for sure. All right, waiver wire got Carson Steele, Quentin Johnson, Alec Pierce. What would your priority be here? Is the running back?
Probably the running back, Quentin Johnson second.
All right. There you go. Running back. I think so. Let's see. Gonna quickly scan to see if we have any must answers for tonight.
I mean, I looked, I didn't see any, but it's probably too late anyways. They already kicked off.
All right. Rusty Shackelford then is next. Lost Pacheco. Here are the running backs. Debo owner has no depth. Okay, let's see what we can do to take advantage here. They have Mondre Etienne, Bijan, and Mostert. He's got Rice, Sungod, Smith, Waddle, Terry, Puka. What can we do here to improve at running back, which you do need?
I would probably offer Waddle for Etienne.
Sounds fair.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds fair to me.
There's legit reason, that the other guy obviously desperate at receiver, so they'll be glad to take that. There's reason to be concerned about Etienne, so let's do that. There you go. Trade Waddle, go for Etienne. Not trading Sun God or Smith, probably or Rice either. I doubt they'll take Terry, but if they do, hey, give them Terry.
Yeah.
Michael Cazares. Okay, so Shaheed Steele or Sharbs from waivers. Got the number one claim. Is Carson Steele worth the number one waiver?
No, I don't think so. Sharp, like, again, Kenneth Walker is going to be back. I'm not using it on Charbonnet. I don't even know if I'm using it on Shaheed, honestly. Unless you're like really need help at wide receiver. But again, he's not going to keep catching 60, 70-yard bombs. So, yeah, I'm probably just holding here.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these guys are worth the number one claim. So, because Charbonnet might get, one more week, if even, of usage.
Yep.
Yeah. Dustin Forsberg wants to know who will have the bigger game next week. Going with Amari Cooper or DJ Moore?
Oh, Amari Cooper, what is going on? I mean, Amari Cooper does get the Giants.
Does it matter when you drop passes?
Man, it feels like Amari Cooper should be having big games. I don't know. I mean, but DJ Moore, like, what's a big game for DJ Moore right now? I feel like last night was a big game.
Yeah.
It's the Giants. I'll say Amari Cooper. It's the Giants.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Amari Cooper. I don't know. I think he's leaving the circle of trust for right now. I might just go DJ Moore. Derek Just. How much fab on Steele or Pirine?
P. Ryan, I'm probably not dropping any fab, to be honest. Steele, I think you could go as high as 20% if like you just have to get a running back. Like you lost CMC, you lost Pacheco, you just have no running backs. But even that seems a little high. Probably prefer more like 10 to 15%.
Yeah. And again, don't be surprised if it becomes a three-headed monster with Kareem Hunt, Carson Steele, Smudgy Pirine. So don't spend up too much. 10% would be like my max. Zamalik, 12 team, half PPR, Saquon and Henry traded Jones, Sharp, and Pickens for Rice and Shaheed.
I think that's fine. I mean, again, Charbonnet will just be going back to a handcuff soon. Pickens, Shaheed. I mean, Pickens feels like a better Shaheed. And then I'll take Rice over Jones. So that's good.
Yeah, I like that trade. I think that's good. And look, okay. I have Puka, Debo, Higgins, and Keenan. That's a receiver room. That's like a hospital ward.
Yeah. Did you even start a wide receiver? I guess you had Debo this week, so that's good.
Yeah, Debo this week, which helps, and you Pickens is still in your lineup. But man, okay, I like this move even more. Henry Odom trade H.N. Hubbard Brooks for Stephon Diggs, Ramondre Stevenson, Brian Thomas Jr.
No, again, the only thing that's going to prevent H.N. from being a monster is an injury. Diggs is okay. I mean, okay, people got all excited. Week 1, 2 touchdowns, and they just ignored the fact that he had 33 yards. Like, I don't see that 33 yards. 2 touchdowns last night, 37 yards. Like, what do you really get? Diggs is like touchdown or bust right now. Stevenson is good, sure. Brian Thomas I like, but Achane, miles the best player in this trade. Give me the Achane side.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. If you're saying you have Lamb, Waddle, London, Olave, Kirk, Deontay, Brian Thomas is never cracking your starting lineup. Diggs probably doesn't need to be in your starting lineup. No, you need running back more than you need receiver. So don't do this. All right. Poor boy Sin traded Chase for Kenny Walker and Zay to compensate for Pacheco.
I'm okay with this. I mean, the only downside is you might not have Kenneth Walker for another week or two. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Maybe he'll play this week, but I think long term, this is about as. I mean, Zay Flowers looks great. Kenneth Walker looked great before the injury, so I think this is a good deal for you. Obviously, depending on the status of Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, this is reasonable. I keep saying Kenneth Walker, good time to buy low. Zay looking like he should. I'm okay with this. Unfortunately, Pacheco owners are going to need to make some moves. And then to circle around to beginning, Master Zonk, trade accepted. The league may call it a bum fight. Call it what you will, but you got the better end of it. There you go. All right. Let's get the last word to Short Season, who's definitely loving the fact that the Short Kings didn't let him down.
Yes. They did not. Definitely did not let you down this week. No, indeed.
It's kind of mean, but I still laugh at the meme where Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray, right? This duo are going to win championship, but it's like Marvin Harrison and then like Kyler Murray. It's still funny. All right. Actually, here, one more question before we get off here. Let you guys watch football. Trade Waddle or Walker or Olave? Yes.
I would definitely trade him for Olave. I would probably trade him for Walker too if you're okay not having Walker potentially for a week or two.
Yeah. All right, guys. Football is on. We are out. We'll see you again tomorrow. Longer stream. Talk waiver wire, trade, starts it, and all that good stuff. Don't forget, videos already have been dropping for week 3. So check out the waiver wire video, the panic video, and you're going to see starts it coming out real soon as well. All right. We'll see y'all next time.